Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are today Friday, May 15, 2015, and thank you so much for the people who have subscribed to my channel. Okay, it's afternoon. Thank you so much for the people who have subscribed to my channel, and thank you so much for the people who are watching this particular video. Today, this topic discussion that I'm going to record is a very long overdue discussion. I've been meaning to record that video, and it's in regard to validation. Letting other people validate who you are, validate your work, validate your capabilities, your intelligence, your beauty, anything about you, really. You remember when, was it the Oscar? Anyways, just a couple of months ago when Kanye went in and that guy won, and you know how he is. He always feel like somebody else should be winning. But if I was watching Power 105.1 with the Breakfast Club, and I remember something that Charlemagne had said, and he said something. He said, "Why do I always feel like artists want other people to validate their work? Why do I always feel like, you know, these big artists always want other people, like you need to win an Oscar in order to get that great validation that you are in fact a great actor, a great actress, a great singer, right?" And you know, I thought that when I heard that, then I said to myself, this is a beautiful point that he made, and I should definitely record a video in regards to that. Now, why is it that it's so important to understand what validation means? Too many times we as individuals try to pressure ourselves or belittle our capabilities or capacity because somebody else, either someone that you have great esteem for, maybe your parents, maybe your boss, maybe your spouse, maybe your sibling, you know, your professor, your teacher is not validating your work. Like, it's almost kind of like you need a pass in order to say that, yes, I am great. Yes, my work is great. Yes, I am intelligent. Yes, what I'm doing is awesome. Kind of like, if you don't get recognized for what you're doing, if you don't get that recognition for what you're doing, then you feel as if you're not there yet. Okay? I don't want to take myself for example, but let's talk about, okay, you know, I've been doing, for my ninth graders, we've been doing a lot of extracurricular activities because we practically are done with our program. And there is this particular assignment that I gave my student in the very beginning, very beginning of the first day of class, which was to list their goals. What is the goals that they had to accomplish for the year? So last week, what I did, I told them to pull out that piece of paper that they have written the very first day, to look at it, analyze it, and to see if in fact they reached that goal. And if they didn't reach that goal, why? Why is it? What happened? If you wrote something down, and what happened? So anyways, one of my students, when he came to me, one of the goals that he had written was, he wrote, "My father is still not proud of me." He wrote that. And when he wrote that, I said to myself, no, I need to talk. And I looked at him deeply in his eyes and I said, you know, sometimes we cannot please everyone. Sometimes in life, you can only please yourself. You can only make yourself happy. Whatever goal that you have for yourself, if you achieve them, whether they were not good enough for the next person, if they are good enough for you, then you made it. I had to tell him that because I felt that when I was looking at his goal, he reached a lot of them. But why is it that he felt like my father is not proud of me? So because of that, this is a goal that I haven't accomplished. No, see, there are certain things that I couldn't say that I just can't say to him, like, F your father at this point. Yeah, he's a young boy, but so what? You have to teach them that you don't need everybody's validation. Sometimes our parents put way too much pressure on us and what they expect us to become in life, what the goals that they have for us. It's great to raise your kid to want to do something in life, but it's also great if you can respect the individual that your child is becoming and accept your child for who he or she is. It's great if you can have various children and see the greatness in all of them. Now, let me tell you something. My parents have 4 children. Out of their 4 children, I'm the 3rd child. I'm the one who really gave them a hard time. One of the reasons was because I was always my own person. I've always been that. I was very, very different as a child. I learned completely differently. But if someone is looking at me like now, right now, you would say things like, you are succeeding. Yes, and I know and I see that I am succeeding. But you know what? I had to focus so much on me. I had to refocus and to learn, who are you? How do you learn? I had to, it's kind of like I was observing and understanding who I am. How many of you take the time to take in the person, the individual that you are? Growing up, my older sister and my older brother always excelled in school. They always were like the people who did the A's and B's. I always did the C's, D's sometimes. I was always someone who did the C's and D's. And my professors used to always tell my parents, oh my God, she's so bright. If only she would put a little bit more effort into that. If only she would put, and my parent would come home and bash me and say that, oh my God, you're so lazy. All you want to think about, because I used to love to dance. I wasn't dancing. I used to do the piano, theater. So they used to want to cut all these extracurricular activities because they wanted me to excel in my studies. But now that I'm an adult and I'm strangely enough working in the educational system, I realized that I really probably just wasn't, I didn't like some of these courses and I never gave my best to some of them. I would excel in French. I'm very, very good at French. I would excel in all history. I would do very poorly in science. I would do very, very poorly in geography. Geography, I didn't start liking and learning and loving geography till right now, when I started to understand what geography meant. I just never was interested into it. So this is also to tell you that some of you are great painter. You are great at something, but just because your name is not in a book, your word is not published, or you're not, doing something, or it's not coming off maybe the journal, you're not seeing your work, you're waiting for that validation, so that you could feel like you're important. You don't need to wait for anybody's validation to feel. We are all important. We all have something to bring to the table. We all have a particular strength within ourselves. And I'm going to tell you something. If you don't believe in who you are not going to succeed in life, whatever the goals that you have inside of you is. If you do not believe in yourself, then you will not succeed. Because guess what? The next man is not gonna give you that validation like that. Humans are creatures of deception, of envy. Unfortunately, when people are seeing the greatness inside of you, when people are seeing how bright you are, how much you could really succeed, many times you will find people out of 10, for every 5th individual, you will find one individual who will see it and actually compliment you. So you would probably, and that's really probably not saying it the most, for every 20 individual, you will knock and you will feel and you will see people who will say things to you like, no, it's not good. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Until you finally get to that person who says it's good enough. I'll give you a quick story, because I want to do a book review before I have to get out. It's like 1 and I'm going out on this scene, but I need to get out. I wanted to write, I was writing something, right? I was writing this particular course that I want to give, and I wrote it last year, and it was a creative writing class that I wanted to teach for Haitian students. Now, when I wrote the class, I reached out to a writer, acquaintance of mine. I wrote out to him, a writer acquaintance of mine who is an excellent writer, and I felt like, you know what, let me give him my draft and let me have him, you know, read it over and coach me, you know, and seeing if I was in the right lane. Now, it was called for submission. I wanted to submit it so that we could get the grant and I could go ahead and teach these classes in the countryside of Haiti. When I sent my draft to him, he sent it back, guys. Mind you, we are about the same age, and the first thing all I could see was the red, you know, in it. It was filled with red to the point that I couldn't even read what I had wrote. The second thing was like, the way he was saying, it's almost kind of as if like all the work that I did was no good to him. It was no good. Like, he was saying that there were too many grammatical errors, that he couldn't continue. He was saying that I wasn't getting to the point, that it wasn't structured enough. Like, he found every negative things, or at least that's how it came off. And when I read it, I was crushed, guys, because I had a deadline to catch. I really thought that I did a good job. Mind you, not to say that I'm anything, but my writing is also my strongest point. So I was very crushed when he did that, and I said to myself, you know what, F it, I'm not gonna submit it. It's not good, maybe I cannot write this class. But then I slept on it. And the next day I went back and I reread his writing. And as I reread his writing, it's almost as if I could read in between the lines at the things that he did not say to me. It's almost as if I could read in between the lines. Now, the first thing that I did, I looked at his comment objectively, right? Because sometimes it may just be that that's the way he came out. He just came out as, you know, a corrector, someone who's being strong, so he saw the bad before seeing the good. So I read carefully all of the comments that he said to me. And what I did, because what you have to understand is everybody has a particular style. So when you correct someone's homework, or when you correct a paper or somebody's work, you can't expect the person to give you the same thing that you would have wrote. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a very different style. You know, the way he was coming up, he was almost saying things like that. Oh, you have to show these people that you are good enough for them to give you the grant. You know, oh, what you're talking about is not going to be good enough for them to give you the grant. So I took in everything that he said, and I did not look at the draft because it was too red. I went back with the same draft, and I said to myself, I'm gonna edit without altering my style, because I felt like I still wanted, and I did that. And I reached out to somebody else in the department, somebody who's way more older than myself, someone who is not Haitian, someone who is also a principal of a university in Haiti. And I reached out to that person and I said, would you please have the time to overlook my work, because I still need someone, for the value, but I really wanted to hear somebody's opinion, excuse me. And the person wrote back to me. And the person said, this is excellent work, Rebecca. This is excellent work. Congratulations on your work. This is good. I hope that you get the work. There were a few minor grammatical errors. And this is one thing that you have to understand. I had to do it too for myself. So what I'm telling you is something that I had to train myself to do. It's not everyone that I send my work to. Because even if they are in a higher position than you, it could be that the person cannot do as much as you are doing. And when you send that work, you don't know how that person feels inside of them to see that you are writing something like that. So careful with that. Stop giving people the power to validate your work. That goes the same with if you finish school. Maybe you did not finish college. Maybe you did not finish high school. But maybe you have something inside of you and you are just as bright as someone who earns a PhD degree. But you will not know that if you keep letting the people who are telling you that, oh, you're not going to amount to anything because you don't have a 4-year degree, because you don't have a master's. I heard it. I heard some people at the time when I was working on bachelor's degree who pretended and wanted me to believe that I could not get a management position because I didn't have a BA. I was like, what? but I never believed them because I knew my capacity. I knew my gift. I knew my strength. So this is really a message that I really wanted to talk about today, and I hope that it sinks in if you're watching this. Stop giving other people keys to validate your work, to validate the person that you are. Okay? Thank you for watching my video, and stay tuned for the next. Bye.
Seguir